This morning's guest is not wearing a cape, but he is a crusader. It's James Marvin Blackmon. You'll hear his story coming up next on All American People. Welcome to All American People. Today we're at Villa Romana Italian Restaurant in the vacation destination of the year, as voted on by visitors to allamericancities.com. We're focused on an amazing life of a longtime internet, television, and radio broadcaster, and we're visiting with Banana Jack Murphy.
Hey,
Good.
Greg.
Hello, Jack.
Am I too excited for you?
Well, you know, you're pretty dang excited.
I am. Oh,
The
here we go. Okay, I'm ready
opportunity
now.
to get you in.
Man, I'm excited to be here. This is awesome. Welcome back to television.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you,
You
Jack.
took a hiatus for a while. Good to have you back.
Yeah. Oh, good. Listen to you flipping the tables here. That it's kind of tough, isn't
I
it?
flip tables. I bust tables if
Oh,
I have to.
Do you really, Jack?
It's a tough economy out there, Greg.
Oh, it is.
I got to
Wow.
go. Things to do.
You have got how many years now on?
Wow. You know, I'm thinking about almost 30 years
That's
I've
insane.
been doing this.
This
and
was-
I've wanted to do it since I was 7. How crazy is that?
Is that right?
Yeah.
You had that goal since age 7.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to do?
I wanted to be Batman.
Oh, wow, Batman.
And I'm sticking to the script because I've said that before on the show.
You have? Are you?
Yeah.
You're still
I
working
really did. I
towards
wanted
that?
to be
Yeah.
Batman or to get into radio. And,
Well, of course
'cause,
you-
I had an AM transistor radio, and it was just absolutely great. I got to travel all over the world because there was no internet back then.
Oh, yeah.
You remember
that-
those days before the internet?
You know, I wasn't
kinda
too
hard.
hip with computers, so
Yeah.
that was not my strong point at an
Yeah.
early age. But you got into, I mean, you were thinking about the internet even before it probably launched.
Yeah, because there was a guy named Sarnoff who said that there would be like this one box. and
Right.
We kind of envisioned it, and I knew that it would be coming. Seeing some things on the horizon, just being a little tech geek. And
Yes.
I think people used to laugh at me when I said there'd be just one device. You'd watch TV on your phone. You could listen to radio on your
Oh,
phone.
come on. You
Yeah.
were what age saying that?
Well, I was in my 30s
Oh,
when I
well,
said
you
that. but
that's
yeah,
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Still ahead of the curve.
Just a wee bit.
Still ahead of the curve. TigerRadio.com.
Yeah.
MyTigerTV.com. WLSC, which of course really drives traffic.
Yeah,
to
drives everything there. yeah.
Tiger Radio, WLSC, 1240 AM in Loris.
That's correct.
Tremendous. And that is, so many people think of you, associate with you the last 15 years on River Talk.
Can you believe that? River Talk, 15 years.
That is incredible. For viewers who are not familiar with River Talk, give them a little sense of what happens there Monday through Friday at 7:30 on
It's
the...
similar to this,
Right.
A little bit, but we sometimes have 3 guests, at least always have 2. And it's basically who, what, where, when, why, and how,
Right.
relating to that guest. And
Yes.
that's the formula.
And of course, it airs on the CW affiliate,
Sure.
CW21.
Yep.
Great coverage throughout the PD,
Something like
southeastern
14
North Carolina.
counties,
Yeah.
maybe, I guess.
Huge area.
Yeah, huge area.
And of course, on a lot of different cable and satellite channel positions.
Yep.
And of course, the opportunity, you've got a great sponsor of that show.
Yeah, HTC. They've been on the line for River Talk for a long time, even before I got involved. So
The
kinda neat.
America's
I
largest.
was not the original host of River Talk.
Oh, come on.
No, Steve Rayborn was
Okay.
the original host.
Where is Steve now?
Saw him the other day.
Uh-huh.
What isn't he into these days?
Is he into a lot?
He's into a lot.
Like, yeah, but he's in the area, excuse me.
He's great. Yeah, he's in the area.
Right,
yeah,
right.
He's,
Well,
he's
that's
back in the
exciting.
area.
So the history of River Talk, did it kick off? It's probably coming up on 20 years now.
18, I guess.
Okay,
I guess
yeah.
16. I don't know. I took over
Right.
after season 1.
Okay.
So,
wow. Well, it may not be as long
no,
as I
not
thought.
that long.
That
Yeah, maybe
is,
96.
so of course the opportunity for you having been in radio, are you originally from this area, Jack?
Grew up in a little town about 2.5 hours north of here. It's 2 hours for me because I have a lead foot. A little town
Ooh.
called Benson, outside of the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill metro area.
Yeah, yeah.
Farm country, where I-95 and I-40 intersect. I literally played there as a kid in
Oh,
those
come
fields.
on.
Yeah, because it wasn't built until I moved down here,
Right.
really and completed.
That is fascinating. Do you miss that area at all?
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're never a hero in your hometown. and it's changed. And when you're gone, it's strange. I've lived in Myrtle Beach almost half my life now.
Right.
So I kind of associate this as being home. But yeah, I miss it.
You
but
still have
but it's
family in
changed.
Benson?
Yeah, all my family. For some strange reason, when the first census was taken in 1790, my family was on the land that the great grandchildren still live on.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
not many of them moved. So if I wanted to date someone that wasn't my cousin, I had to marry a girl from Ohio.
And that you did,
It
yes.
was crazy. Yeah.
That is
Sure
amazing, Jack. Yeah, and that, of course, that's simultaneous to you getting on River Talk. I believe 97 was the big year.
Yeah, I actually started doing this show in the summer of '97 and got married in September of that year. So I was planning the wedding while I just kind of fell into this.
So you had known Barb before that. I was about to say it was your radio experience. It
I
must have
met
been
her.
TV
Yeah,
that
she
got
was
the
a
big
guest.
date.
No, she
Yeah.
was a guest on my show.
On your
And we had planned the wedding before I'd gotten into this.
right.
I'd done television off and on a lot. Donald, who is kind of the brainchild of this show, and or the brain trust, not necessarily the
Right.
brainchild, but
Let's give him child.
yeah, that'll work.
Right.
He acts like a child most of
Ooh,
the
I'm
time.
going to let you say that. Yeah.
He really acts like a child most of the time. But he used to do some videography for the Myrtle Beach Days show that I did in '94, '95.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of weird. I hope he got paid. I didn't handle that aspect on, but nonetheless, maybe this is revenge.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Revenge comes.
They asked me how I got River Talk, and people come onto the show, and I say I lost a bet.
Oh.
And we just leave it at that because I really don't know how it happened.
That's fascinating. Myrtle Beach Days was a real popular show.
That was a crazy show. It was really before its time. It was well written. A lot of times we didn't have the props. I mean, if we needed a picture of a particular someone that was in the news, we'd have to go find a tabloid somewhere and literally cut it out. I mean, the internet was still so new.
Yeah.
And we produced a kind of a comedy show every week.
Is that
Around
right?
the events of what happened in Myrtle Beach. And we had some strange characters that were developed on my radio show through the years. And I got to put on costumes and be Dr. Love. You're familiar with Dr.
I
Love.
am, from our wedding. Thank you again, Jack.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You brought that up, and I'll let that go where it may.
That's-
And Claude and Earl and Mr. Know-It-All and all those wacky
These are
characters.
now. Is that common for folks who don't listen to the radio much or hadn't been regular listeners of WKZQ or Wave 104 when you were actively on those stations? Is it common that there will be characters of a popular?
It used to be. It's kind of strange now. It's almost like everyone wants to be a shock jock wannabe, and there's the true art of comedy. We always did innuendo. I mean, I targeted my humor towards adults, but your kids could still listen to my show. It would be over their head. Now, my son gets some of my humor, but now it's not just funny. They don't know where they're going, I think, a lot of times. I'm not cracking. I've got friends. They're great guys. They're great communicators. But Rick D said if you couldn't do it in 2.5 minutes, that maybe you shouldn't do it. And so I've always tried to get those punchlines in. People have got to realize that radio, no matter how good you are or how great you are on the air, it's simply background noise. I mean, look at your chaos in the morning. If you got kids, you're getting them off to school, you're getting on the road, somebody cuts you off, your phone's ringing, you want to know if you should take the phone call, and the radio's on. Who really listens to the radio? They hear it. And the average commute's 20 minutes. My formula was to throw a little humor in there, give them 2 songs, and my secret was to just be everybody's second choice. And if you're everybody's second choice, you're going to do well enough in the ratings that you provide good value for your advertisers and your listeners recall you.
That is fascinating, Jack. So you really weren't with the mindset that folks would be listening to you.
No, the music was always
right.
the star. I was just
Yeah.
something that went in between whatever music, and I can blend. I've worked every format.
But now when you actually stepped in, and was it 2001 that you took over for Howard Stern, who'd been on the air for a long time? Now, he's not a music format, right?
No.
Okay,
No.
so when you stepped into that and you did that for 5-6 years, am I
Well, I
right?
didn't even
Yeah.
know it was going to last 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
I knew that they were going to change the
Right.
dynamics of what was on KZQ when I was there, and the companies merged. I thought, what a feather in the cap,
Yeah, sure.
because you know, I always looked at myself as a brand, as my own little entity. I would be on the air for a company, but I always looked at myself as like a company.
Right, sure.
I think people sell themselves short, regardless of what it is that I don't have a job. I'm doing work for someone because they may not need me to do the work anymore.
Right.
They didn't take my job away. They just didn't need me to work for them anymore. So I was a company. I looked at myself as a company inside a company. And just saying that I replaced Stern, what a great shot in the arm.
Yeah.
Because I knew how Stern did his show.
Right.
I knew that Stern, you know, wasn't going to be coming down here. And I also kind of had an inside scoop that he wasn't probably going to renew his contract, which he didn't.
Right,
So,
yes.
it was a fun time. I'll tell you, it built some tough skin. I knew I was going to get a lot of hate calls.
And you did?
Oh, sure, it was great.
Yeah.
And I put them on the air. Why not?
That is.
Most of them, you know. Yeah.
Now, the Banana Jack, I'm sure folks ask or want to ask all the time, where the heck, was that something you?
I don't know if I've ever said this publicly, but I'm at the point now that if you actually go out and research my company with the FCC, you'll find out my legal name. So I'll give it now.
Oh.
My middle name is Marvin. You know, one of the things we share is that our names are kind of similar. James M. And that
yes, we have that in common.
We have that in common. You know, Bill Hennessy had this idea. He's a great master of old radio, general manager at KZQ when they won all those great awards. He was like a showman, man. He's like the P.T. Barnum of radio. Great show guy.
Right.
A little weird and a little eccentric for those that know him. But he came up with this idea that he wanted a morning show called Banana and OJ. Well, he'd hired a girl to do news.
Right.
And she was going to be the sidekick, the male-female sidekick. And he had the OJ. He was looking someone to be Banana. Well, I was Marvelous Merv before I came
Because
here.
of your middle name, Marvin.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Marvelous Marv had worked at KZQ, Marv Clark. That was so they didn't want to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Banana Marvin just didn't work. It still doesn't.
Right.
So I had to be something that was kind of catchy. And there was a Charles Bronson character called Jack Murphy. And, you know, Murphy is an Irish, it's easy to remember.
Yes.
Jack Murphy, harsh consonants. And so kind of a playoff. Jackson is a family name.
Right.
So I just came up with Banana Jack. It worked.
That is incredible. So you mean Jack is not really your name?
No,
Murphy is not really your name?
No, just a close tie to Murphy, and my last legal name is Blackmon.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So you're letting it all out. So now
I'm
the
letting
folks
it
know
all
they
out.
can get in the phone book. They're looking for that Banana Jack Murphy.
No, I don't have, no, it's not in there. And it's crazy when my wife Barb Crum at Ocean Lakes, was known with the Arts Council and then went in to work with the Jackson Company. She goes, what do we do?
Yeah.
You know, because she wanted to take my name, and she did, but I said, why would you use my last name when you don't?
Right, yes.
Or when I don't, rather. And it's kind of strange. So now when we show up for PTA conferences, my wife is Crum.
Barb Crum, yeah.
And a lot of times the telemarketers say, I'd like to speak to Mr. Crum.
Yeah, I bet they do.
And then Murphy is how they associate with me, and then Tristan carries her legal name.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, you got Barb Crum and Jack Murphy and Tristan Blackmon, and it's just crazy.
Wow,
yeah.
Jack, that is hilarious. That
Wacky.
could get very confusing
It's
at times.
confusing, it really
is. And that's for most celebrities who may carry, I mean, I don't know if Howard Stern, if that's his real name, it probably is.
I think maybe, yeah.
There are quite a few
John Wayne, I forget his whole name. His name was Marion. John Wayne's
is that right?
real name was Marion.
His first name was Marion rather than John.
Yeah.
Marion Wayne. Well, that would be... How exciting, Jack. I'm glad you shared that on air.
Yeah,
I'd like to thank just all American people.
All right, I'll show up in the lawsuits now.
Danger.